Yo, what's going on? It's DriN from DriN TalKs. I apologize for my lateness. I literally am running a little bit late right now, and if you hear a lot of stuff in the background, it's just because I'm still setting up. I still have people back here. We didn't get to switch this up yet, but yeah, welcome. Today, what we're going to be doing is actually get well we're gonna typical we're gonna wait for everybody to sign on, but today we actually have a guest today. As soon as I figure boom, it's my man Leroy.
Hello, world. How are you all?
Like, just actually have to switch this as soon as I figure out how to do that.
Want me to go on the other side?
No, you're good. It's kind of a little bidirectional cords for front and rear. Dana. Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. I'm actually a little late. I'm on. We're live right now. So,
It's 8 o'clock.
yes.
So they can all
Yeah.
Who's on?
Right now it's just me.
Wow. You guys can cut that or something. Come on, kids, go upstairs.
Oh yeah, that's funny. All right, so bidirectional. I go this way. Okay. So still trying to figure out this mic. So that should be good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good right there for you. Yeah. You're out of camera now.
Well,
Come in.
all right. So I understand. I actually could have left it for one camera. I mean, one mic thing.
Yeah.
Shit picks up everything. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry for my flusteredness. I've literally, I had to do something. For those of you that know, I am a volley. So, and volley's volunteer firefighter. So I had to pick up a uniform today. But before that, we also had a rescue call today, which was actually pretty interesting. Like, we literally, we get the call and it says man versus machine.
Whoa.
And in our district, we have a beer house. Literally, we pull up on scene and I pull up to a, I guess, frantic scene.
Okay.
The man, there was this conveyor belt that crushes the glass and shit.
Yeah.
So it seems like the conveyor belt caught his garment.
Sure. Yeah.
And because it's moving so fast, it literally, from his elbow to his hand, was, think about how the conveyor belt turns.
Oh
so all
God.
this turned with the conveyor belt. So this is all jello.
It's all broken. Oh,
it's all jello.
Yeah.
And to the point where he's probably going to lose that arm.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a first. I'm not going to hold you. That's a first. I've never experienced that. I've experienced people dying in a car.
Oh, man.
I've experienced a car accident like that, but I've never experienced that. So,
was he in shock? Was he screaming, or was he just in shock?
He was in straight shock. Like, when we got there, he was yelling. He was, doing a whole bunch of stuff. I guess they must have drugged him, because after a while, one of my chiefs that was next to him was like, homie was literally saying, hey, can you grab my keys from my pocket and make sure you lock my car doors?
Wow.
So he was,
he
was drugged. He was drugged. He was definitely drugged. So that was a very interesting scene. Like, it was hectic. It was panicked. I learned a lot of things from the fire service. I learned a lot of what you do know and what you don't know. And today was a big what you don't know. You know, we have a tool on one of the trucks, is a whizzer saw, which we use to help cut them out. And I realized I never trained on the whizzer saw or how to set it up. I figured this shit out.
Yeah.
You know, I made it look good. It made it look good, like I knew what I was doing. But yeah, I kid you not. I was like, yo, we gotta hook up the whizzer saw. I'm like, shit. All right. Cool. We gonna figure this out. Something. Yeah, it's gonna got it to work, but that was that. All right, so everybody, I'm gonna introduce my guest. My guest is Leroy Fellis.
Hello.
He is, I guess what we call us. I guess we're what, cousins-in-laws. I guess.
I think that's what it would be.
Yeah. So pretty much, Leroy is my
cousin by marriage, right?
Cousin by marriage.
Yeah,
yes.
Let's just go with that.
His wife and my wife are cousins, so that's how we met. Let me actually jump on to Instagram Live to let them know we are live.
All right.
But yeah, that's Leroy is my cousin by marriage. Where's the live option? Jesus Christ, I don't know how to use Instagram anymore. This is how you know you're getting old. So, excuse the interruption. Actually, I'll let some people jump on before I make the announcement. But yeah, so this is my cousin by marriage that we brought up. And I just thought it would be cool that we have guests on. Like I said last week, I'm going to figure out actually how to do the Zoom and have the guests kind of be on screen. But until then, for those that can show up at my spot, we can show up and just have the genuine conversation going. Yo, what's going on, everybody that's on Instagram Live? Click on the link in my bio. I'm currently on YouTube Live. I'm not going to stay here on Instagram. We do have a guest today. This is Leroy. This is my, as we established, my cousin-in-law or cousin by marriage. We're going to be having pretty much a God chat, you know, bro chat, right?
Yeah. So
jump on to the YouTube. All right. The link is in the bio. I'm going to stay on this for a little bit longer. So pretty much, I asked you here. I feel like I'm low, you know. It's Leroy's tall, so
pretty tall.
I feel like I have to be taller. So pretty much, like I said before, like we're probably just gonna talk. We've had many of conversations, and I will say our conversations I find very insightful. You do make me look at things very differently, whereas I might be upset about something and you're like, well, why didn't you think about it this way? And I'm like, oh, this guy fucking Leroy is out here making me change minds and shit. Yeah, and just to have a light conversation, because I do feel like sometimes on DriN Talks I do have heavy topics, like with loyalty, like with just past topics that I've had. So I feel like this will be good, and I can feed off somebody else.
Definitely.
So,
how often, if you don't mind me asking, how often does participation, like through listeners, do anyone ask questions and things like that? Yeah.
Well, usually when we do the DriN Talks, right? Usually on the Tuesdays, whatever. How I've been having is just kind of like I participate through the chats, right?
Gotcha.
So people, write, hey, this is what, blah blah blah, and I'll just kind of answer through them. Gotcha. But normally, what I'm doing is that, like, my last topic, loyalty. What I've normally done was I would have that topic, and then I would go on the live and talk about that.
Gotcha.
Where I'm trying to switch that up, where I'm now having the topic, and since I figured out how to actually record and do all this stuff and edit and stuff, like I'm gonna just do the topic on my own, talk about it, and then put it out. And then either we talk about it that DriN Talk Tuesdays for those that watched it.
Yeah, very wise.
So that way we can actually have a dialogue as far as me going on it, or just putting out the topic and then just talking about something on Tuesday.
Cool.
We can touch on it, we can do whatever, but
cool.
That's how I figure I'm gonna start doing it. Whereas also I do like this dynamic in it, where we are actually just having a conversation,
chatting it up.
And like I said, once I figure out actually how to do the
whole
thing,
shebang,
I will actually do that.
Gotcha.
Yo, T. Lou, we on YouTube Live. Switch over. The link is in my bio. I'm talking to you. So, I guess to start, I guess you can introduce yourself, tell people about yourself, what you do, where you from. Because, New York is not your native land.
Not at all. Not at all. Hello, everyone. As DriN mentioned, my name is Leroy. I'm originally from Florida, descendants of Trinidad. My parents are from Trinidad and whatnot. And been in Florida since I was 26 and just got up here about a year and a half ago. So in New York, that's where I got up to New York a year and a half ago. A little bit about me, fun fact. Music is a passion for me,
and that's something I actually found out recently.
Yeah.
Leroy can actually sing.
So, music's a passion. I love numbers. Finance is so weird, right? You got one side of the brain that's all about arts, the other about numbers. And for me, I love both, right? So I love dealing with finance, numbers. Currently, I work as an operations manager, and I basically deal with numbers a lot, and make sure things are smooth. And that's something I've been doing here in New York for almost a year. So that's a little bit about me. I have a wife, beautiful wife. Shout out to Cindy. And son, Tristan, and a newborn baby girl, Emma. So
that's right. You are a new.
Yeah. So father again, right?
A father times two.
That's true.
With a newborn. So how's that going?
Our only son, Tristan. He was an easy baby. Like, he slept through the night. He made having a baby easy. Emma, not so much. Emma sleeps all day, but at night it's like she wants to be awake. She cannot stay asleep. She'll wake up every hour. Not hungry, just want to be up. Just want to be involved, and there's nothing going on, right?
So you got your work cut up.
Yeah, definitely. So it's been 10 days.
Let me ask you this. 10 days.
10 days,
okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because you have a son.
Mm-hmm.
How is it with a girl now?
How does it feel?
How do you feel?
It feels different. It honestly, it's so funny you mentioned that. My mom and I had a conversation like 3 days ago about this, where there's a difference in having the girl. I don't know if the difference is having the girl or just having the second child, but how I feel has to do with the fact that she's a girl. I'm always cautious, right? But I'm a lot more cautious with her. But then there's this type of desire for, we can't do nothing right now. My wife's breastfeeding. I'm just kind of there, right? I'm just support.
Yeah.
So, but there's a desire for me to just be a part and really be doing something. It's only been 10 days. I can't do nothing anyway. She's sleeping most of the time. So there is this huge difference there. I know there's times where I'm thinking about, man, when she grows up, I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna have to get a gun. It's just I'm already thinking about those things.
You moved to the wrong state for that. You were in Florida, where it would have been so easy. Now you move where it's literally gonna take at least 8 months for a background. If you want to go get an AR or whatever, you can go to the store right now and get one.
But a handgun,
it's gonna take about 8 months.
Yeah. So
it's funny that you had the girl in New York.
It's crazy, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. There's a dynamic that just makes it you feel different. I can't lie. It feels different. You do. But
everybody that's
different.
Excuse me. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Everybody that's joining on Instagram, I'm staying on until 8:20, and then I'm just gonna be strictly on YouTube Live. So the link is in my bio. Click on the YouTube page, and you can get onto the live chat the live broadcast. I'm staying on for another 2 minutes, and then I'll be strictly on YouTube Live. I understand, we're all used to me being here, but I'm trying to switch over just to YouTube Live. That's the only reason why I stayed. I don't know how to pin that. Thurland, you're literally hitting me with a whole bunch of stuff I do not know how to do. Come on. I know I am technologically, savvy, but some things I ain't there yet. I don't know how to pin it yet. Write it out in the comments. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Hold on.
I think she said she can do it.
And then what? I just hold it? Was I supposed to press send first or... Oh, wait. Pin comment. Someone said Leroy sing a tune.
Not today. Maybe next time. Y'all keep joining. Never know. That'll be
All right,
a treat
so
for you.
I'll stay on till 25 since I just learned how to pin this. Whatever.
But yeah, that's how it's been, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Eventually,
Yeah,
maybe I'll think about it.
I'm done, man.
You're done?
Yeah. I got my set, so I'm good.
You're set?
I'm good.
Nah, so here's the thing. Are you really done? Or
Yeah, I really am done, man. I
So
think
now,
I'm
let's
good.
talk about it.
Let's talk about it,
right?
yeah.
Because for me, I always said, I always wanted 3 kids,
Mhm.
right? And if I had 3 kids, I was always saying after that 3rd one,
That's it.
Snip,
You
so
so that's how we're done.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, I'm
done?
not on that.
I'm really done.
No, I'm not really done. I'm just done.
Yeah,
I'm just
see,
done.
I'm at the
Oh,
point
you
where
really-
when I'm done,
Yeah, you.
it's it. There's gonna be no slip ups.
Yeah, that's it. There's no accidents. No oops,
You know,
babies.
everybody 18 and all of a sudden, whoop, whoop. Nah, it's not for your boy.
No oop babies for you. I hear you.
It's not for your boy. Like I said, everybody, we're only staying on YouTube Live. Well, excuse me, on Instagram Live till 25. And then now we're switching over to YouTube Live. So hit the link in the bio, join, subscribe to the channel, hit the like buttons, and, follow us there. Yeah, so that's what it's like having a girl. Huh?
That's what it's like.
And I remember when we were talking about, I just want you to know,
Yeah.
I feel like you should give me a thank you.
Okay.
Because I was doing my reverse,
That's
juju
That's what that
the
was.
whole time.
Okay.
I wanted you to have a girl.
Okay.
See, when
Yeah.
Leroy would
Please
come,
explain.
he was, when his wife was pregnant, I was all of, it's a boy, right? And I knew he wanted a girl. He kept saying, I want a girl. And he would be like, I rebuke you and all that. I kept
Everything.
saying it was a boy, only so that he would get the girl. Because if I said it was a girl, and everybody said it was a girl, and then shit turned out to a boy, it'd be a very big disappointment.
Yes, definitely.
But now once he came back and was like, Emma's here, it's a girl. I'm like, see, you're welcome.
This guy.
You're welcome. You can thank me later.
You know what? I think DriN needs to join politics. That was a great flip. You will be ready. No one will say you did
What
anything
are you
wrong.
talking about? I literally, it's. I know what I'm saying. I know
hear
what
you,
I
brother.
do, right?
Well, I thank you. If that's what you was doing, I thank you 100% because little Emma is here, so I'm happy about it.
Emma's
Got
there.
my girl.
I'm happy for you. I truly am. I want a girl, but I'm
Yeah.
scared.
What you scared about? What in particular?
The same thing that you said.
I was
you're gonna
originally
buy a
scared
gun.
about. Yeah.
And no, I truly feel like if I get a girl, it's going to be like I'm going to be putty.
Yeah.
I truly feel that I'm
Wow.
going to be putty in her hands. It's literally
So she'll have you.
Dina is gonna look at me and be like, "Why did you buy a Mercedes?" And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, "Well, she wanted one.
Mhm.
She's all of 3."
Yeah.
like I feel that's what's going to happen to me.
Got you.
And I am scared.
I hear that. So you already know she's gonna have you.
Yeah, I feel like the paranoia my wife has about my son,
Mm-hmm.
and is he safe in it? I feel like that's going to be me
You
with
for
the
your
girl.
daughter. I agree.
And it's not to say that I don't fear for my son's
No.
safety or
Mhm.
anything, but I feel like I can tell, like, oh, my boy, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Whereas my girl, I feel like I'm going to be that guy, like, oh,
She'll never really be.
like
okay.
I'm gonna be the person, like, yo, Dina, she's not home yet. What happened?
Yeah, what
Where's
happened?
she? You know what I mean? Like, I am scared. I want one, but I'm completely scared.
You know, it's so funny that when Cindy first was pregnant with Tristan,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't know the sex, when Cindy first got pregnant, I never wanted a girl. Like if you went back 5 years ago, I was God, anything but a girl. It only could be a boy, but I really was against a girl, right? And it's similar to what you said, but the different fear. It was fear though. it was fear of her growing up.
Mhm.
And it's fear of her. Listen, we're guys.
Yeah.
And we know things we may have done. We know things our guy friends may have done. And when you think about,
Yeah. I
There
don't
we
want to
go.
think about it. That's the
Exactly.
problem. That's the
Exactly.
problem.
When
I
you-
know I was terrible. Actually, let me correct that.
Yeah.
I was not terrible, but I would
What if,
like. I think I did a thing earlier back in August where I said, "What would I have done? What would I told my younger self?"
Mhm.
I would not want my younger self
to be
dating my
dating?
daughter.
Exactly. That's it. That's the key.
Yeah.
And not just younger self, because we all have guy friends.
Oh.
So that we might have been
Now,
on
my
one
friends
level.
forget about it.
You know
Forget
what I'm
about it. I wouldn't want any of them
And,
dating my daughter.
and that was always my fear, And even with Emma, it's not as heavy because I think I'm older now and I feel like I might have a more of a.
Yet.
Well, that's
why.
true, and I'm praying that I have more of an influence on her and kind of show her the game. You know how what's his name? Steve Harvey wrote that book. Basically have that situation with my daughter. So when she sees it coming, she can call it a spade. Instead of. But other than that was my fear.
I always said I would spoil my daughter and get her everything that she needs, so that way she would tell guys, and I would tell her to tell guys this: if you can't do what my dad does, you're not worth my time.
Gotcha.
But then, as I thought about that might not be the greatest thing, because these kids nowadays are fucking resourceful.
Quite.
You know what I mean? So you find that one dude that goes, "Oh yeah,
You don't
here,
know what I can do." Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, or have the backing of their parents to get them what they want, and they want what she wants, and now I lost.
Yeah, I hear that. That makes sense.
But I'm also saying this when I wasn't a parent.
True.
So now being a parent with my son, realizing like certain things, you just gotta let them grow.
Yeah, there is.
You just kind of gotta let them be
part
who
of the
they're
process,
going to be.
right?
Like I was talking with my wife today. Oh, just quick, Instagram. We logging off on Instagram. We will be on YouTube Live again. Hit the link in my bio. Go to the YouTube page and sign on. Peace. Just being a parent now, right? I like my son today. I was talking with my wife about it. We were talking with Dina, and she I was literally like, I know he's a kid, but this still makes me cringe, right? And it was literally I guess yesterday there was a car fire, and I didn't know they took pictures. My chief told me that they took pictures, so I sent it to my son because get him interested in this stuff.
Yeah,
he likes it. I sent it to him. I was like, look, that's me, whatever. And he's like, oh my God, cool. But he sent me the cat with the hard eyes.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay,
and he sent a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I know you're a kid.
Yeah.
But I know you're a kid, but definitely I'm gonna have to teach you etiquette on texting.
Yeah,
guys. And I told my wife this, and she's just like, "Yeah, he's your son. He's allowed to send you, hearts and stuff like that." I'm like, "Yeah, I get it." That's why I didn't say anything to him.
Yeah,
but it still makes me cringe.
I can understand that. I can understand that. Trust me, I can understand that. Because it's funny, and this goes back. 20 years. Let's say not 20, 15 years ago, 12 years ago. Emojis wasn't even a thing, right?
Yeah, this is
so
true.
it's and yet we've grown now into the culture where emojis is a lot. Like some people only speak with emojis, right?
Exactly.
And it has such a profound weight with every emoji that you send that I can understand where, hey, he doesn't really know the extent of different emojis or, as you mentioned, the etiquette of
and
emojis.
Also, he's of a different generation where, like you said, they speak with emojis. Where I'm in that generation or
you're exposed and know it.
We're that age where it's kind of like, hey, I remember when emojis was literally parentheses, we had to create it ourselves.
Sash,
you know what I mean?
For smiley
And
face,
then it turned into, it actually had emojis. And then it turned into like what it is now.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, I'm like, I didn't really do the parentheses, but like it was too much work.
Yeah.
The emojis came out, I really didn't care. It's really recently in the past 2 years where I've actually really started using emojis.
Bro, they had a whole movie on emojis. Like that just tells you how
true. True.
And I think that was 2 years ago, give or take.
Yeah. So now, like with him doing it, I'm just kind of like, but that's also just me being the old guy.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
us being our parents, right?
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly what it is. Us being our parents. Because to him, like, who's to say that when he grows up, guys aren't sending hard eyes to each other and shit like that? You know what I mean? Whereas to us, it's kind of like, nah, dude, it's like, yo, fam, you're not going to send me no hard eyes.
Yeah.
Like, what's good with you? You know what I mean? So I'm trying not to overreact, but it's still like,
yeah, it still bothers you. It's like, hold on, what's going on? But I hear that. I hear that.
This guy, Jimmy. Listen. This guy, James Caro, you have to watch him.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Jimmy be the first person to flirt with your wife.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, no, I know so. Right? So when Dina said you can practice on spoiling me, and he going, yeah, you should definitely do that. That's him flirting with my wife. Right? That's a fellow fireman of mine. He funny guy, good dude. So yeah, like without conversations, see, I told you.
Oh, he knows what's up.
You gotta watch it. So our conversations, like we have very in-depth conversations where we talk politics, we talk, upbringings.
Yeah.
I think upbringings I want to bring up because, like you said, you were born in Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
And then you came to Florida. Just West Indian upbringing itself.
Yeah.
Totally how did that go for you?
How did that go for me? Well, if I start from I think the West Indian upbringing is no disrespect to any full-blown American. We love you. I'm here. Don't plan on leaving. So, but I think that the upbringing is a lot more sheltered, but I'm in a sense like pure, right? I love how I was brought up. We learn basic structure, different things we have to deal with, and then I think as a man now, a lot of that stayed with me, and I plan on doing the same with my son. I think that if I could be a little specific, so there's the island upbringing, and then my mom was a little progressive island upbringing, right? So she was a little more. She kind of let us live. She kind of does what you were mentioning, where allowed us to live. My mom was the type of person who, even though she told us what not to do, right? If we ever ran into school, I remember this time I went to school. I was up here by now, and it just tells you how sheltered I was, right? I was like, Mom, what's a hoe? Right? I was at school, I think it was elementary school, maybe 3rd, 4th grade, and some guy said, you're a hoe, something like that. So I went home, having a great relationship with my mom. I said, Mom, what's a hoe? And my mom actually explained what a hoe is. I'm maybe not even 10, maybe 8, 9 years old. So the best way she could explain it, but then she explained not to use the word and why not to, right? And I think that even though some, like the core island, some people won't even go to their parents and say,
no, of course not.
You'd ask that question.
Of course not.
But then you would have known what it meant, right? So I think that type of upbringing helped, mold me into, knowing things in a way that you should. A lot of kids now, they get into activities and behaviors that they really shouldn't, but having an open upbringing, I think will actually help them not get into it, because a lot of kids just want to do it because you say don't, but go ahead.
I completely agree with that point, because same with you. Everybody knows I'm Haitian American. My parents straight out of the island of Haiti. But my parents were quote unquote progressive.
Yeah.
And even with my parents' siblings, a good portion of them were progressive. I remember I have an uncle who's a psychiatrist. And to him, he kind of allowed his kids to be who they are. And as I think about it now, like he probably was doing a Jedi mind trick on them, but like he just allowed them to be who they are, and they flourished. But in the same thing, like I remember him saying, like my cousin literally one day just decided he was going on a drive.
Yeah.
He drove all the way out east.
Mm-hmm.
And then on his way back from out east, he lived in Lindenhurst at this time. On his way back it was in Dix Hills at this time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was on his way back from out east, he decided just to keep driving and found himself in Massachusetts, in Boston.
Wow.
Now, he had family there. He just found himself on the way there and go. Now, everybody was livid. Everybody was upset. But I think after a while, my uncle was just kind of like, if I forced them and literally made them sit at home and do whatever, I would lose them. And that same cousin, when he went away to school, he went to I grew up 7-day Adventist, so he went to a 7-day Adventist school at first. And when he went there, he would literally see these people who had grown up in the church that was like sheltered and
so bad.
Strict parents and whatnot. And as soon as they got to college, they lost their mind.
Oh, yeah.
They lost their mind.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, we used to have to sign in. Like, we had to be in the dorm by 9 o'clock. But if you were outside the dorm by after 9, like, you had to sign in and tell the reason why you were late.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yo, one of his boys literally wrote, I was out getting my freak on.
Wow.
And like they were like losing their minds. And to him, it never was a thing because he was like, my parents let me go out when I was in high school. Like I went out to the teen clubs. I went out to and that was the same. Yeah, that was the same concept with my parents. Like they let us go out. Like we used to have this thing. They used to call it SNC, the Saturday Night Crew. You know what I mean? Okay. Because we would Saturday nights, especially my senior year when I had a car, like we were out. And I knew kids that they weren't allowed to go anywhere. And as soon as they got into college, they were out there, thotting and bopping is what they call it, right?
That's true. That's true. That's true. It's so funny.
Or even when they were in high school, they were sneaking out to do stuff. I never really had to sneak out.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, hey, I'm going this place. Correct. All right, be safe.
Yeah. That says a lot, other than the upbringing being so strict, but it also says a lot about what your parents think of you, right? Because I think that even with progressive parents, if they find a child that is going a little too far outside the lines,
don't get me wrong. My mom was there to snatch me right back up.
Exactly.
Don't get it twisted.
Hold the reins,
don't get it twisted. But Daddy Content was there.
But it still says a lot that they still allowed you to go. And I think that I agree with you and your uncle, right?
Yeah.
His philosophy there, because just think about it. It's any kid, even right now at Tristan's age or your son's age. You tell them don't, they're going to find a way to. They immediately start thinking, how can I do without you knowing? Right? This is it. So I love that upbringing. I think that upbringing is the best way. My mom was even up to the point where I'll tell you the story. I was, I was growing in church as well. But my mom had told me I think I was maybe 16, 17. And I think it was 16. I was driving from school or something like that. My mom was, whatever. And we were talking about sex, right? And she started talking to me about it. And I was like, Ma, you don't even need to have this conversation with me because I'm going to do like the Bible says. I'm not going to have sex till I'm married.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, I said that to her. And she's like, son, I'm glad that that's what you want to do. But in the event that you don't, make sure you protect yourself where it comes X, Y, Z. I said, Ma, why are you saying that to me? I said, I'm your son, and I'm telling you, I'm going to wait until I get married before I have sex. And I'm literally getting upset. Like, we're kind of like arguing at the fact that, why are you even giving me a out? Why are you giving me a plan B? And then, as I got older, of course, and went to college, so
things switch.
But I appreciate it now looking back, or at that time looking back to say, I'm glad she said what she said, because it wasn't that she didn't believe I would try. She's not even that believe that it was my intent, but it's just that she knows the true temptation, and she wasn't trying to keep such a veil over my eye that the world is so perfect like that, right? Yeah. And I think that type of upbringing, even having those conversations with your kids openly at, of course, appropriate age is helpful, because I never, I went all through college, had fun, college. But when I met Cindy and was, committed to her, it was when we had Tristan.
Yeah.
So even I never had a quote unquote scare between those times. So just because of that conversation. So I think it's a great way to raise kids.
It
upbringing.
definitely is. See, mine was different. I didn't have that talk specifically with my mother. Like we've always kind of talked about it, but it was never a real direct like, hey, this is sex and this is that.
Yeah.
I had that with my father.
Gotcha.
All right. My father, right around the whole puberty time, and I was the quote unquote wet dreams and shit.
Yeah,
like
I got you.
So my dad had the conversation with me, and the crazy part about it, he reminded me of this later on when me and him had to have like a serious conversation about him leaving and stuff like that. Like I don't even know how he remembered, because I personally did not remember.
Yeah.
I guess in that conversation, I told him I wasn't gonna have sex till 18.
Yeah.
And I wasn't quite 18, but I was like 3 weeks away from 18.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, and he was like, yeah, you kept your word in essence. I'm like, I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I guess I must have had that conversation with him. But for me, with that, in that specific topic, it was just, I was never in a rush for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he made it, him and my mom, like I said, we never had this specific conversation, but it was always a thing for like, don't bring no babies in this house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, having sex meant
having
babies in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was never in a rush to it. And I always kind of gauged myself like, the way I always thought growing up was like, you bring a baby, you got to take care of it. Like they made that explicitly clear that they aren't taking care of anybody's child. You are going to take care of your child.
Yeah.
Point blank, no matter what age you are.
Yeah.
So unless you're ready for that rescibility,
don't be playing around.
Don't even play those games. Yeah. So like to me, it was kind of like I was like, yo, I'm having fun. Like ain't bringing babies ain't for me. Like I was that person. I loved kids.
Yeah.
But I was always that like, hey, all right, go back to your parents.
Exactly. I can give you like, I don't have to think about nothing. You know.
So like for me, it was just never that topic. So that when I actually did wind up doing it, I felt, I guess, confident in myself on not doing that. Now, I had different, experience than you, where you said you had no scares, and I've had scares.
Got you.
Because I did wind up whatever.
I got
that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other episode.
I do credit my parents with that, being open, and they always said like, I want you to be open enough to come talk to me, but they always let me know I'm not your friend.
Yeah.
I'm still your parent.
Yeah.
I'm not your friend, but you can come talk to me about anything. I want you to be able to come talk to me about anything. And I know a lot of people like that. They didn't have that upbringing.
Correct.
They weren't that open with their parents.
Couldn't be.
You know what I mean? Like, again, like my mom, it was big. Don't get pregnant unless you're married or whatever. And for those of you that know my story, me and my wife were not married when we got pregnant.
Yeah. Same thing. Me and Cindy weren't married either. You
know what I mean? So just even being like, don't get me wrong, I hesitated in telling my mom, but when she hit me with a text, man, and I guess it was my fault for telling my father first. My father, winded up telling everybody else and got back to my mom. And I got a text. Me and my sister got a text. Because I guess she didn't know who. But she knew somebody was pregnant.
Okay, gotcha.
So me and my sister got a text saying, I hear one of y'all is pregnant. Somebody better come talk to me. I remember that day vividly.
Mommy ain't playing.
Because I was out. My best friend, we were, celebrating his pregnancy with his girl, whatever, at his aunt's house. And I got that text. I'm like, shit.
It's on.
I looked at him. I was like, y'all gotta go.
Yep.
I went immediately home and had to tell her.
Yeah.
That was rough, but she was upset, but it is what it is. She is. Let's move on. Let's figure out how to do this best for the baby.
Now what's next? Yeah.
But listen.
It's always the moms though, G. It's so funny that my father died early, so I didn't have that relationship with my dad, right?
Okay.
But I was so, even though me and Cindy were exclusive. We were engaged. You know, all that jazz.
Sorry.
I was still terrified to tell my mom that Cindy was pregnant. Terrified. But you know what? You know, Cindy was around my mom and stuff and so on and so forth. And you know, the old, at least in Trinidad, I don't know about Haiti, right? But in Trinidad, and I bet it's Haiti too, the mothers or the grandmothers can tell way in advance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, way before you even, sometimes before you even know you're pregnant, they'll tell that you're pregnant. And my mom, Cindy, went to visit, we went to my mom's house, and literally, as we're walking out, she said, Cindy, you look pregnant, so what's going on here? And I said, we just laughed it off like, Mom, what's wrong with you? Cindy ain't pregnant, she's just gaining weight. Da, da, da. I mean, she was barely pregnant. I mean, she was, I think it was a week after she found out. She was 4 weeks, then she went to, so maybe about week 5, week 6, still barely pregnant, you know, nothing in there, right? And she said that, and we got in the car. I'm like, yo, you hear what my mom said? She's like, yeah. A week later, I wound up telling my mom. She's like, I knew already. You know, she was much, you know, she was calm about it. She was just like, you know, hey, I knew it was going to happen. Y'all been together for what, 2 years or something now? Y'all been moving to these steps, da 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 da. But it's funny. I was so terrified of telling my mom, even though, quote unquote, we're moving in the right way, right? I'm still terrified. I think I'm just terrified. I don't know what it is.
Honestly, I think it's because, like you said, you grew up in the church. I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
You have that. Because it's not only your mom that's telling you wait till marriage.
Yeah.
It's the upbringing that's telling you, hey, this is only an act for marriage. And you know you're doing the quote unquote sin.
Yeah, yeah.
And then now this happens, you're like,
this is the proof of the sin.
Yeah, I mean, like, damn, like, you know, we was getting away with it. No, you know, like, though people probably could tell, like,
yeah,
they having
everyone,
sex.
Yeah,
they having sex, but like nobody could prove
exactly unless they're right there.
And now you're pregnant. They're like,
you having sex?
Y'all having sex, and it's like, damn.
Oh man.
And so I completely understand it. Like again, just with telling moms, it is a very difficult. Like I told my dad with ease.
Yeah.
Like I told my dad because I was scared. Like it wasn't. I was scared to tell him.
It was like, Dad, I need your help. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like I'm pregnant. Like Dina's pregnant. Like what are we gonna? I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
My dad's just like, it's just a baby. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's not gonna be all right. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Not telling my mom, it's because I was scared of her reaction. I was scared of she's gonna flip out.
Mm-hmm. That's why you delayed until
Like I told my dad immediately. Mm-hmm. My mom, I took my time.
Yeah, if she didn't ever like, found out, it might have wanted a little longer. You know, when Dina started showing, maybe
not like shoot. If we could hide it till he popped out, like hey, you know, like Dina just said the exact quote. I hear I'm gonna be a grandmother. Which one of you is pregnant? That's exactly what she texted me.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, yo, I remember exactly where I was.
Jesus.
And everything. Like
your heart must have been
like
your blood when you
dropped. Dropped. Literally dropped.
I'm like, imagine.
Like I'm outside. It's cold. I'm outside on the stoop. Like shit.
Stressing.
Like stressed. Like
how
what
are we gonna do this?
Yeah. I'm talking to my best friend. Like yo. Like and he, with him like. Him telling his parents it wasn't really much. Like it was kind of like, oh, okay,
yeah, congrats. Yeah, the whole.
But like us, it's kind of like,
oh, damn, what's going on?
You know, it was already, you know, stressful. And I think at that time we didn't even tell anybody yet, Dina, did we? Because I don't even think we told Dina's parents.
Yeah, it was just your dad.
It was just my dad at that point.
You needed help. I got you.
It was just that was it. And then now.
It's now it's happening.
Then from the mom, now we tell her mom, and then like we gotta tell Dina's parents.
Yeah,
that was stressful in itself too, because I mean,
yeah, I can imagine. G, trust me,
it's especially like I said, we grew up in church, so now there's the whole pressure of getting married and stuff like that. And again, me having the progressive parents, they were always like, you know, just because somebody's pregnant doesn't mean you have to get married to them. That doesn't have that pressure.
Good, yeah.
Because my mom was a big proponent of that because a lot of my aunts, not a lot of my aunts, but like I had aunts that had
got pregnant out of wedlock, and they were pressured married, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to them, it was always like, why would we do something like that? We don't even know if they're compatible to each other or nothing like that. But you're just like, oh, we gotta hide the dynamic
of their relationship.
Yeah. So it's like, it's hide the sin, hide the sin, hide the sin. But then in hiding the sin, you create what?
More sin, stress, drama, and then supposedly divorce is a sin too, I believe. So if they separate, it's still more sin.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was always the junction of how I grew up. Not to say that that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. Definitely not. What I had wanted to happen was to be married.
Yeah, of course.
That's what everybody wants. Yeah. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. In the end, years later, you're here, you're happy, you got this wonderful son.
I'm straight. I got this bright kid that every day I look at him and kid amazes me. Like yesterday, I come in and I'm literally, did I get here late? Yeah, I got here late yesterday, and shower, whatever. Dina, she was going to sleep, so she went to sleep. I just went and laid down with him.
Yeah,
and he's playing his little video games, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, yo, how the hell did you figure out this video game? Like, and of course, like at 6, I'm playing regular Nintendo.
Yeah.
It wasn't that hard, but like his kid is going like with his iPad, and it's like, I'm sitting here in amazement of like, yo, this kid's freaking bright.
Yeah. Definitely.
And my wife hates when I say this, but I always liken it back to the Dave Chappelle stand-up. I think it was Killing Them Softly, where he looks at his son because his son made him a macaroni necklace, and he goes, "Damn, you came from my balls." Like, it's just amazing. And that's just literally how dads feel. I don't care what you say, how us as dad, you look at this kid and you're like, this fucking kid's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can't literally say, like, I birthed you, because that's mom's stuff. I put in some work.
Planted the seed.
I planted the seed. Now, you said your father had died.
Yeah.
At what age?
I was 5 or 6. I was super young. I remember him a little bit, but...
So what do you remember about your father?
I remember I think I only have 3 memories of my dad, to be honest with you. 3 or 4. First memory, the most vivid, is my first day of kindergarten. Generally, right, statistically, or when you watch movies and shows, the moms take you to school, right? Yeah. But this day, and that was generally how our life was. But this day, for some reason, this time, my dad took me to the first day of school of kindergarten. And I remember walking up nervous, scared, because it's a new building, it's new everything. Actually, I never went to preschool, right, or daycare. So this is like a first time I'm really going to be away from my pa in the day. And I remember us walking up to the thing. I'm just nervous. I'm scared. I got my backpack. I can't remember his voice or him saying anything. But I do remember him just being there. I think I'm going to give him a hug, and I walked to the room. I bet there was more, but I know that after the departure, whatever he said or did made me feel comfortable in the class. Then I have another memory of him where this is a memory, like, my dad was mad chill. Like, Tom and Jerry was his thing, and we were kids, so any cartoon was our thing. And me and my little brother laying on the floor, whitey tighties, right? We all wore whitey tighties back then. My dad comes from work. He was a welder, and I remember him getting in his wife beater or his vest and his whitey tighties, and we all laid on the floor watching Tom and Jerry. And then we eventually started climbing on him. Then there's one, the other memory I have of him is when, it's really 3, I can't remember anymore. But the third one was when he was dying, right? No, there's 3. 4. This one is when he was dying. We were going to church for some reason. I was so angry. I just didn't want to go to church this day. And my dad he was firm. And I just remember him, roughing us up a little bit. I was angry. And then it's me, my dad, me, my little brother, and I have an eldest brother named Anthony. And we're standing there. We're taking a picture, all in suits. Everyone, back then, you really dressed up for church. In suits, and we took a picture, and he was sick. That's when he was. When I was growing up, that picture was there, and you could see his, he losing the weight and the face drawing in. And then the last one was when he died in the hospital. He was in the hospital, and I wasn't there when he died, but we went after he died, and he he was laying on the bed, and eyes were closed. Of course, he was dead. And I remember my mom and my aunt crying, and so on and so forth. And my eldest brother Anthony, he punched a hole in back in the day they used to have the fire extinguishers behind that glass. When he realized his dad was dead, he punched the hole. Punched that thing so hard he got his hand all cut up with the glass, and that was the last memory I have of him. I remember leaving and I'm telling my mom that it's going to be all right. He's up in heaven with God now, right? Because you're a kid, you already know what they tell you, and it's the truth. But that was me consoling my mom. That's the last memories I have of him. But a lot of the stories of my dad is what inspired me to be the man that I am. My mom always used to have stories about my dad, like how he used to do this. She said when he died, it was so hard for her. She had sent us back to Trinidad, me and my little brother, because she didn't know how to do nothing. My dad was such a man's man that my mom didn't know how to pump gas. My mom didn't know how to do those things that today would be like so simple. And that's why she sent us away for like a year back to Trinidad to kind of figure it out, because it's too hard to figure it out with two young kids. I was 5, my brother was 3. Right?
So you're the oldest.
Yeah, and I'm the oldest. Right? So, and it's like, it was tough, but all those stories, she said he would do this, he would take care of this, he would be, he'll take care. He was just, everything that my mom used to tell me about my dad as I was growing up, all I said in my head, I need to hit these marks. Because the staple of him, or the standard of my father, was what I would say pushed me to be the type of guy I am today. So, yeah. I do wish he was around, though. I'm not gonna lie. All these things that we go through in life, I do wish he was around.
I like my parents. I think we had this conversation. My parents, separated. My dad was in school for a good portion. To me, I feel like the most important part of a young man's life, which was I was about anywhere from, I think I'm gonna say 12, but it could have been 11 up until I was graduated high school. My dad was big, in and out. It's not that he was completely disappeared. It's just like he would be in school for the school year, and then home on the summer and winter.
Gotcha.
But that was it. So it's kind of like he just wasn't there at that time, and especially at that time for me, as young adolescent teens, whatever. I personally feel, and I will not apologize for it. I personally feel you need to have that man in your life.
Absolutely.
There. 24 hours present, because I was dealing with a lot of emotions. You're getting testosterone now and stuff like that. You're dealing with stuff that you don't know how to handle, and I was learning that from women. And not to say anything's wrong with women at all, but a man has to conduct his emotions differently than a woman. A woman, it's acceptable, not to say that it should be, but it's acceptable for them to quote unquote lash out. Whereas for me, it's not.
It can land you in jail, especially if you can't control it by the time
exactly.
a certain age.
So me, I was learning to just lash out. Especially thinking about it now, like I was learning to. I remember my cousin did something off the dumbest thing, watching a movie, and my cousin would not shut up, and I literally flipped.
One off.
To the point where my mom's like, I've never seen this. I was 12 or 13 years old at this point in time. She was like, I've never seen, like, what's wrong? And I was literally we were at my aunt's house. I was in the basement fuming.
You was in there. Wow. Yeah.
And I feel like at that point in time, like that should have been not my mom. That should have been my dad checking me.
Gotcha.
Because it was my mother, I felt like I could continue to fume. And not to say that, like
I get what you're saying.
There's that fear factor that, like, listen, this is whole other guy.
It's like a fear of respect.
A fear of respect. You know what I mean? And I give this story every time that my dad, just because he was away, did not mean he did not check me.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, that man, till this day, I have the fear of God. Because this one conversation of him saying, you ever raise your hand at your mother, I'll kill you. To this day, it's like I don't play with that. And because of that conversation and because of that talk, I will now teach that to my son too.
Yeah.
I will now go on, and even just in situations that I've been in life where maybe I might have reacted wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And once I reacted wrong, that came into the back of my head. Like,
ready.
I will come up and kill you. Like,
yeah, I got you.
It's either I'm going to jail, and I remember like I
The
had a
conversation
situation.
vividly.
I remember I had a situation where that happened, and I was literally all I could think of is that I have to leave. I have to leave because I'm about to go to jail. I'm about to like literally like I think of these things because of him.
Yeah.
And just for you to say that, you know, your dad wasn't around, but like just hearing the stories of him had you kind of stand straight. It shows for us men that the importance of having somebody. And I don't care if it's your father or if it's an uncle or maybe just the dude, your next door neighbor that's allowed to check you whenever he needs to check you.
Yeah.
Not to say that checking you needs to be, you know, a physical
hit.
Just, yo, young blood, sit down. Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm getting a lot of questions here. What are you question marking, Sharisa?
There's no need for guns
or overprotection.
They might have been about my daughter.
Oh,
we were talking about the girls. Hey. If you've ever seen what's that movie called? Bad Boys? I think Bad Boys 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all you need. Yeah, that's all you need. Just like that.
I feel like every guy has that scene down packed.
That's all we need. That's it. Prepared, right? So yeah, man, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yo, just for you guys that are watching, hit the like button. You know, I only got one like. I'm trying to go it up. Smash that like button.
Subscribe.
It honestly, I watch a lot of YouTube, right?
Yeah,
I do. I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube and stuff like that. And mind you, I don't hit like buttons or subscribe. I just don't do it. But I always hear them. So now for me to say it, it feels literally weird for me saying that.
Gotcha.
All right. So I'm trying to get used to this.
Yeah.
But it's a very new experience. Like this whole forum, this whole, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess I'm going to use forum because I can't think of it. This whole medium is, though I like, my dad never did that to me or whatever.
That's your sister?
Yeah, that's my sister. Okay. All right, whatever. But your dad never did. Poppy spoiled the hell out of you. All right.
We were talking about that earlier.
I just want you to know that you were spoiled.
We were just talking
about
that with girls,
right?
You
were, but you were very spoiled. But this medium is very new to me, right? As much as I do like talking and stuff like that, I don't actually like hearing myself talk.
Yeah.
So like me
playing back
something, I literally cringe. I'm like, oh, you sounded like that. Like I hate doing it, but I do find this very fun.
Definitely.
You know, especially us that I can feed off of you and stuff like that. I think this is a very good dynamic, and I'm glad that you're comfortable.
Oh, definitely, yeah, man, definitely.
So now you touched on, you know, this is how you try to raise your son. What lessons growing up that you learned that now you're gonna try to instill about manhood to your son?
I think the main lesson that I would try to instill in my son would first be, I guess I'll say top three. One, first be true to himself, right? That's the first thing. You know, one thing that I had the guide or the you could say the standard or expectation that I placed on myself based on my father, right? Over the stories of my father. And that's not bad. But you know, as a guy, any guy listening to, you guys know as we grow up, there's so many roads you can take. Like you get introduced to different, you got the bad guy, there's so many different guys you can become. And sometimes you weigh through trying to be someone you're not. I remember I had a moment, I had my gangster phase, if to say. Looking at myself today, there's not one bit of me getting out an ounce of gangster in me, right? But I remember when I was, trying to be that person. So that's one of the things. Just be true to yourself, no matter who's laughing, no matter who's, saying what. The second thing would be, it's okay to be in tune and use your emotions. Mm-hmm. Yes, but responsibly. Yes, they can take you to negative places, but it's okay. There's a stigma with men, and I think it's really heavy on the Black community for us to be so quote unquote tough, quote unquote macho, right? And that's okay to be that way, but remember that there's more parts of you.
Yeah.
So that's the third, and then the second one was just love God, and whomever he, with his woman or whomever, just love God and care for your woman and your children. That's it. I think if you stay around those three, he can't really go wrong. That's it.
Now, Dina sent me something, I think last week or so, and it made me think. I gave her an answer, but I want to hear yours.
Okay.
20 years from now, what do you hope your child says about your parenting style?
Oh, wow. I hope that 20 years from now, my son and Emma would say that my parenting style was loving, and my parenting style would be, this is tough. I don't want to say strict, but
so let me tell you what I said.
Yeah, go for it.
So pretty much I wrote back, I would want my child to say about my parenting style was tough / demanding, fun, and loving.
Yeah. So I want to have like a guiding, but not so strict. It's similar to what you mentioned. I want love to be at the center of our parenting, right? Or my parenting with my kids. And I then want to make sure that they still have structure. Yeah, just loving and structure. That's really it. That's all I would want them to say back then. And open, biggest thing. Like, remember I told you about my mom, the progressive old school island? I want my kids to come to me about everything. I don't care if it's, Dad, I tried drugs. Dad, I had sex. Both of them. Like, I mean, maybe not my daughter. Talk to your mom first. But the sex thing. but with Tristan, just be open. I always want to know what's going on because, man, there's so much stuff that happens and kids carry these things and it affects them as they become adults, But being able to have someone who won't judge you and possibly guide you through this thing, so it's not a baggage when you become an adult. So loving, open, and definitely, loving, opening, and with a little bit of structure. That's what I would want. If I could have 3 words, that would be it. That's all. Yeah. That's a great question, though.
And it made me think, like, even after I gave the answer, I kind of still thought about it. And I said I said demanding, fun, and loving. The reason why I said tough and demanding is because, I speak to my own experience. I speak to me being a Black man in America. This country's tough on us. Mm-hmm. That's true. So I want you to experience that so you know exactly what it is. That you're not frightened by people being tough on you. You're not frightened by people being demanding of you. But I also want people to be demanding on you, or me to be demanding on you, so you know there are expectations you have to meet, and that you are capable, like you are confident in yourself that you can meet anybody's demand.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I say that. So I don't want to be overbearing or just tough for no reason. Yeah, there's a method to the madness.
Setting an expectation.
Keeping expectations because I think also for me, just me growing up and how I grew up, there were expectations, but I also know that there were expectations that I did not meet, and it kind of was I felt sometimes brushed under the thing, and I just felt like, oh, I don't gotta meet him.
Yeah, I got
you. But having somebody, and that's also because, again, my dad wasn't there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I felt if he was there, and I've told him this,
Mhm.
if he was there, and he said this, if he feels like if he was there, there were certain things that me not finishing school or something like that would not have happened.
Got you.
Because you would have had somebody there holding. Not to say that my mom couldn't do it or whatever,
Mhm.
but it's you feel different when it's a man.
Yeah.
Coming from a man.
Yeah, coming from a man's point, yeah.
And fun, because I'm a fun person. I like to view myself as a fun person. I cannot be strict all the time.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's being tough, having that expectation, but being fun enough to be like, oh, my dad's great. Like he demands this of me, but he knows how to have fun.
Yeah, as soon as I chill.
And then loving, because I want him to always know that I love him.
Yeah.
That he's
No matter what.
all right. It's okay to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
I still demand the best of you. I
Mhm.
still demand that you reach your highest, but you're gonna be,
Everyone stumbles, right?
no matter what, you're
Yeah.
gonna be caught out of love.
Yeah.
You know, me being a new officer now, right, in the firehouse,
Mhm.
I'm now learning a lot of things. They call me the baby lieutenant, right?
Mhm.
So I'm learning a lot of things. So a lot of things that I've probably done as a regular firefighter, I didn't, I just jump out, just make sure I knew my job,
Mhm.
not having to worry about anybody else. And learning from my chief now, he demands a lot.
Yeah.
He's a very demanding chief. He demands a lot. He demands that you come with your A game all the time.
Yeah.
And having to meet those expectations. But when we don't meet those expectations, he's gonna get in your ass.
Mhm.
But he'll also let you know what you did do right.
Yeah.
And what we could do better. So I think, and he has this thing where he goes, don't listen to how I'm saying it. Just listen to what I'm saying. Now, yes, that can work with certain people.
Yeah.
That can backfire with certain people.
Correct.
Knowing your kid, it is what it is. But I
Mhm.
think I'm coming to that point where it's like, all right, don't listen to how I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying. And it's vice versa, because I also know I have to take that own medicine too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I listen to how people say things, and I'm just not trying to hear that.
I got
You're
you.
not going to talk to me
I
any
got
type
you.
of way.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's also, I take that from the military too, because a lot of times you're gonna get
Yeah,
You
you're
gonna
gonna
get
get a lot of
screamed at.
mess. Yeah, yeah.
you're gonna get yelled at.
Yeah. They'll
And
talk to you like you're nothing.
You can't take it personal. You just have to perform.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of instill that in him, where, because knowing your kid, he's sensitive sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have to know when to push and when to pull.
Yeah.
And as
that's
a parent, especially, it's my first child.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really,
It's the balance. Yeah,
you
I know
that out.
exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly. There was a time once where I yelled at Tristan for something he did, or chastised him for something he did, and I think it was like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, he comes over. He says, "Dad, you still love me?" And it killed me, because I'm like, hold on, I'm just correcting you. And I had to grab him to me. I said, "Tristan, listen, I will always love you, no matter what you do." I said, when Daddy yells or chastises you, it's not because he doesn't love you. It's just because he wants you to do something right. But always remember, I will always love you. Right?
And I've done that. I never got that.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I think I would have probably
Yeah.
too. But if I've used, and we all know I've used, little
Yeah,
tap
of course,
on the
yeah, same
hand
here,
or
same
there,
here,
or whatever,
yeah.
right? If I've used that, I've always followed it up with, it might not have been right away,
Yeah.
but
But
later on
sometime
that
that
night,
day, mhm.
I've always followed it up with, come have a conversation with me.
Mhm.
This is what I did.
Mhm.
I did this, you and growing up, I got that whole, I hit you because I love you.
Yeah.
But that's not what I want to say. I
Yeah.
don't want to say that I hate you because I
Yeah.
love you. This is the reason why I corrected you,
Mhm.
because I know you're better than this.
Correct.
I will always love you.
Mhm.
Mommy will always love you.
Yeah.
Like this is not something like I was just, what I don't want for you to do is this because
Mhm.
of this reason.
Correct.
I don't necessarily feel, and to be honest with you, I barely raise my hand on him.
Yeah.
When he was younger, like he would get the little
pop on the hand.
Pop on the hand here and there. But I think I did that enough at that time. Because I realized, you know what I realized with him? And again, this is going to know your kid.
Yeah.
With him,
doesn't really work.
Corporate ownership don't work. It don't work. Like he literally shrugs it off.
Easy.
Like my son's memory, it goes.
Yeah.
Like you corporate, 5 minutes, he's over it. He's done.
Back
He's back at it. But what I realized with him was if I got down to his level, looked him straight in the eye, that had more effect on him.
Wow. That's good.
If I took him away from the audience, got down to his level, looked him in the eye, that had more effect on him. So like there had been times like where he was acting up in front of people, and I was like, that's it. Get up, let's go. Or I'll take him and remove him somewhere, and then he'll come back and just sit on the couch. And they'd be like, what did you do?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, you had to tear him. I was like, I didn't touch him.
Just talk to him.
It's just I realized removing him from the situation, getting to his level, having the stern conversation, and I might have threw in a little threat like, yo, next time this happens, that's it.
Listen,
Now go sit down and have a seat. That he responded to that. So I continued with that. Now, him being a little older and kind of knowing the game a little bit, exactly. I gotta switch it up a little bit. But I realized having like, and I said this in earlier context, I kind of have adult conversations with him. Like I don't talk to him as a child. I kind of just talk to him as an adult. Because honestly, they're gonna treat him like a fucking adult anyway, right?
Either way, yeah. That's it. That's so true.
So, and I feel like it kind of helps his comprehension of things. It might
advance to the next level.
Yeah, a little
that's true.
Much, but
that's true. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's true. For Tristan, the thing that works with him, similar, the beatings or the striking doesn't really have much of an effect. He can eat them.
Yeah,
he really can eat them. He'll take it and just look at you.
He'll be like, all right.
Yeah, but what works for him is so weird. It never worked for me. Time out.
Really?
Just removing him from, like, if we're all in the living room, he does something, go to the room, tell Alexa 6 minutes, or I'll tell Alexa 6 minutes. He sits there for 6 minutes or whatever. That has more of an effect on him than anything else. And I've seen that since he was little. Talking to him, my son's a con man. I'm telling you, he's a seller. My son will eat it up, and he'll be ready to go back and forth with you, but he'll sell it to you. He's a tough little cookie. One thing about my son that I do love, he will have to learn as we get older. I know I'll have to teach him is he speaks his mind. He speaks his mind. No matter who you are, no matter how old you are, he's gonna speak how he feels, and he's very strong. So you can't sway him easily. Yeah, which is good. It's good for not just being a man, but being a black man in America and knowing your worth and knowing who you are. The only thing is, I know as you get older, you have to learn to, as you said, he's a military, you're with the firehouse as well, right? The fire department. You have to, sometimes, you still have to yield to somebody in some way. So other than that, that's the only thing.
Now, I want to touch on this thing that my sister said, right? Said my father had the sex talk with her. And also that I, as an older brother, was not overprotective or overbearing. So she said, teach your daughters discernment, and there's no need to fear with your daughters.
Let's talk about it.
All right, Teresa.
Can I jump in first real quick?
Go ahead.
Teresa, listen, I think that it's not that we fear our daughters. That's the point. At least I think we're on the same page. It's not that we fear our daughters. What we fear is us. Exactly. And we're not saying discernment is great, but we know some of the friends we've had, some of the things we may have done.
And we know the game.
We know how things work. We've seen women who are so in order and Johnny comes around and Johnny just speaks the sweet nothings and it just does something. We're not saying that our daughters will be so easily swayed, but there's some brothers out there that can sway. That's just what it is. So it's not. I think we're on the same page with this, where it's not worrying so much about the daughter. we pray and we kind of know because of the guys we are and because we know what our friends and what we may have done, we're going to kind of prepare for those things.
Listen,
but still,
I'm preparing for a guy like me who comes in and looks your dad straight in the eye, shakes his hand, it makes him feel at ease, and then
do whatever you want later.
doing Lord knows what with your daughter. Because I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Now, as far as me not being overprotective and overbearing with you, to be honest with you, Teresa, you made it easy to be a big brother because you
wasn't taking no BS anyway. I'm assuming.
I mean, she wasn't taking BS, but Teresa was also kind of an introvert. Like she stayed home. Like there wasn't really much for me to be overprotecting of because you were chill. Like you didn't really do much. And then once you started, when you did start going out and stuff like that, at that point in time, it was kind of like you were an adult. Who am I to tell an adult what to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, like, I was around at that point in time. So, yeah, I might not have been overbearing, like, don't talk to this person, but I was watching. I was looking. I was going to let you be. But, like, you were an adult, too. That's how I felt about the situation. Now, had you had been started going out at, 14, 15, yeah, I would have pulled the whole big brother shit, like, yo, who the fuck is this? But, you know what I mean? And then the people you did date, I knew who they were, where they came from, parents and stuff like that. So it was kind of like I never got to have that. Who is this nigga? Like, you know what I mean? You never came home with some random person that I had to now meet.
That
like
just looks sideways.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm looking at him like, yo, something. Nah.
Yeah, he ain't it. Yeah.
So I will say, in that effect, I was blessed. And that's the last and only time you're getting that from me. After that, you were an annoying sister.
Yeah, that's it though. That's really it. We're not worried about our daughters. It's never really the daughters. It's never. Well, I can't say never, but most of the time it's not the woman's fault. You know
who I actually am worried about? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
what you mean? What's worried about?
Because I feel like I'm gonna have to deal with a whole lot of mess.
Yeah, you think so?
You know what I mean?
Not you have to do a lot of explaining to do. That's a parent's.
Because I feel like, Dina's going to be like, get your son.
Yeah.
Get your son. Man, it's going to be, Dad, let me get the car.
Yeah, the whole setup, right? I hear that. Trust me, I hear that. I don't know.
But, Leroy, I appreciate you coming out.
No worries, brother.
I appreciate you joining me. Here. I think this was definitely good.
Yeah. Fun and natural.
It seems like you're gonna have to do some fathering right now.
Yeah.
My nose is bleeding.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's a wrap. Here we go. Back to life. Right?
Again, everybody, thank you for coming out. DriN Talk Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Tell me how you thought about this. If I'm gonna continue going on with just having guests every week or every other week, whatever. But appreciate you guys all for coming out. This is DriN Talks. Peace.
All right.